Hey guys, I'm a bit late with this one. Path of Exile, the Forbidden Sanctum. I'm late, but I don't want to be left out. Let's see what's up.
The Forbidden Sanctum is an old Templar
Chris?
enclave, long rumored to be hidden beneath the Fell Shrine ruins. Abandoned for a long time, it is now controlled by a malevolent entity. In this league, you'll explore it, find out its secrets, and deal with the evil that lurks there.
Okay.
The Sanctum Challenge League is a roguelike game, played out one room at a time as you explore Rayclast and the Atlas in Path of
that's actually
Exile.
such a cool idea.
In every area or map you enter, you can make a choice of which room in the Sanctum you will explore next. On the Sanctum map, you
Kinda
can
like
see
the
the
labyrinth
contents of a few
a
rooms
bit.
ahead, enabling you to plot a path through its dangerous halls. And the Sanctum is dangerous.
Oh,
Like
shit.
most roguelikes, you should not expect to be able to complete it on your first try.
Oh?
Getting to the deeper floors requires experience, knowledge, and luck. You should expect that your early attempts will fail, but over time, you'll be able to push
One-shot.
yourself farther and farther. As you progress deeper
Classic,
into the Sanctum,
Path of
you'll
Exile.
find a variety of treasures that will help you eventually fight your way to the dangers that await you at the end of its 4 floors.
Like what?
Eventually, by
Buffs?
endgame, you may be able to push through all 4 floors to face the final boss. Every roguelike needs a resource to help you track how well the run is going. In the Forbidden Sanctum, it is your resolve, indicated by this bar here. As you explore the Sanctum, your resolve is threatened by the dangers within. When you lose all of your resolve, your Sanctum run ends.
Oh.
Your level of resolve is maintained between consecutive rooms on your run, but is only shown when you're in the Sanctum itself. The resolve mechanic applies equally to all build archetypes. Your resolve is reduced when you are hit by monsters or environmental hazards in the Sanctum,
So
and
like
these
health,
telegraphed
basically.
attacks are not affected by regular Path of Exile defensive mechanics, such as evasion, armor, or block.
No, but you're still losing health.
While these attacks do some nominal damage to your regular life, the bulk of their impact is against your resolve.
Right.
This mechanic provides a mechanism for tracking your progress between rooms, where your regular life pool would long ago have been recovered. Another aspect of the resolve system is that characters who are struggling can be ejected from the Sanctum without actually having to die, avoiding experience loss or hardcore death.
I see.
So maintaining a healthy level of resolve is key as you navigate the Sanctum, and that means making careful choices of what rooms you enter. Let's have a look at some of the things that Sanctum rooms can contain.
Show us.
Afflicted rooms cause you to gain an affliction when you enter them. Afflictions make your Sanctum run more difficult. For example, reducing your resolve recovery, causing rewards to become hidden on the Sanctum map, or causing Sanctum rooms to spawn volatile anomalies that follow you. These
Okay.
minor afflictions accumulate as you get deeper and deeper into a run,
I
making
feel
it more
like
challenging.
they made their own game with this one, pretty much.
Major afflictions exist and are a big deal. They have significant consequences, such as entirely preventing the recovery of
Feels
resolve.
very different from like a regular league.
So, a Sanctum run gets harder and harder as you pick up more afflictions. Sounds great. But every roguelike needs a way for you to gain power throughout your run. In the Forbidden Sanctum, that system is boons. Boons are beneficial buffs that help you as you progress through the Sanctum. Minor boons make things a little easier, such as slowing down monsters or adding a special shield to your resolve called Inspiration. Major boons don't come along often, but have large effects, such as preventing you from receiving more minor afflictions, or recovering your resolve to 50% the next time you run out.
Oh shit, sick. Like a
Due to the
revive,
vast
basically.
variety of afflictions and boons, no 2 runs are the same. Generally speaking, your best Sanctum runs are the ones where the afflictions you choose have little effect on you, and the
Right.
boons either counteract them or have a large benefit for the strategy you're
Right.
running. Some
Makes
rooms
sense.
in the Sanctum contain a fountain, which will restore some of your lost resolve. Others contain
Interesting.
afflicted fountains that restore even more resolve at a cost.
Right. To give you an
Rooms
affliction.
with a treasure reward contain chests full of the Templar Aureus currency, a type of gold coin they used for commerce within their Sanctum. You'll also find some Aureus coins from monsters that you kill as you explore. These are picked up automatically, like Azurite, and are not tradable, and like your afflictions and boons, are lost when your Sanctum run ends.
That's bad.
Some rooms contain a merchant who accepts your Aureus coins in
There
exchange
you
for
go.
boons.
What are you selling?
Plan your purchases carefully, as you may encounter the merchant again later on with even more expensive boons to purchase. Occasionally, the sinister powers controlling the Sanctum will present
not
you with
items,
the choice
it's
of making an
actual-
accursed pact. You are given several pacts to choose
Stuff
from,
inside
and can
the
even opt to
dungeon.
take all that you are offered. All pacts have a big upside and a big downside, such as exchanging a portion of your maximum resolve for a random major boon. It's very dangerous to make a pact, but if you pick the right circumstances, your gamble could pay off. In addition to rewards that help you progress through the Sanctum, many rooms let you immediately receive Path of Exile currency items, but with a twist.
Oh?
Whenever you're offered some currency items that you can receive right away, you are also
18
offered
chaos
a more
orbs.
valuable option that will be waiting for you after the boss fight at the end of the current floor of the Sanctum. It's a gamble, because if you fail your run before you reach and
You
defeat
lose
the
everything.
boss, you will not receive the reward you picked. Later on, you're offered the extreme temptation of getting a massive currency reward that is conditional on completing your entire Sanctum run without failing.
Oh crap.
At a specific point in the Forbidden Sanctum storyline,
I can feel the
you'll
rage.
discover a special altar that Templar relics can be placed on. These relics directly affect your Sanctum runs and are not lost when a run ends. They persist throughout the League as a permanent
that's
source
so
of meta
nice.
progression. Acquiring new and better relics is one of the ways
That's
you can
like the
push
stash,
farther and farther
basically.
with each run you try.
You gotta like
Relics cannot be crafted
figure
and
it
cannot
out.
be traded, as they represent your personal
can you unlock
progression
stuff
throughout
from
the
the looks
League.
of it?
You'll accumulate more than you can use simultaneously, so you'll have options to fine-tune your strategy from run to run. You can
Nice.
store your extra relics in the Relic Locker, a free storage space like
Oh,
the
nice.
Expedition
Very
Locker.
good, very good, very good.
We don't want to spoil important story details, but the end boss of the Forbidden Sanctum can drop unique items from a pool exclusive to this league. Today we'd like to show you a unique amulet called Eternal Damnation. This amulet offers a powerful way to gain additional elemental mitigation by introducing the concept of elemental damage reduction. Despite the drawback of reducing your maximum resistances,
Interesting.
if you have sufficient chaos resistance, this is more than compensated for. Because of the
Interesting.
roguelike nature of the Forbidden Sanctum, defeating the boss of a floor is a difficult achievement and hence rewards a lot of experience.
Cool
You
looking
may
boss,
fail
too.
on the way,
The
so if you
candles?
do manage it, expect a good experience boost for your achievement.
Really? Shit.
Another
Sounds
reward you
promising.
can find is a special type of relic called a Sanctified Relic
Account
that has
bound.
mods that directly affect your character's build. You can only unlock one slot for this type of relic, and while these relics can't be crafted through conventional means, you may find special reward rooms in the Sanctum that can modify them. These relics exist for this league only and provide a boost to character power for players who are able to master the Sanctum.
Wow.
The Sanctum League offers a roguelike experience that
Sounds
tempts you into
OP.
taking risks and rewards you if those pay off. There's a lot to explore in the Sanctum, and we can't wait to hear about your experiences next week.
Looks
In
nice.
each expansion leading
Looks
up
very
to Path of
different
Exile
from our
2's
usual
release,
stuff.
we're improving Path of Exile's endgame, with new content to explore and improvements to how you customize
It's like
your
its own
endgame
game within the game, you
experience.
know?
In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we're revamping the Atlas tree, reworking
Again.
how Eldritch Altars function, and are introducing 2 new Atlas memories.
Ooh.
The Atlas tree is generally working really well, but has a few problems we'd like to address.
Such as?
The tree offers you the ability to specialize in killing pinnacle bosses, providing extra rewards when you do so. While this sounds good on paper, it creates a situation where you're incentivized to specialize your tree for regular mapping, save up all of your boss fights, then respec fully into boss mode, and then do all of your saved up boss fights
Yeah,
before specking
true.
back again. Ideally, the design of the Atlas tree would let you spec into one build and then just play the game.
I agree.
We have removed
Yeah.
all boss bonuses from the Atlas tree, and
Oh,
have baked
shit.
some of them into the actual base properties of the boss fights. For example, you don't need to
That's a
allocate
good
the
idea, I
gaze into
think.
the Abyss notable that makes the Elder more likely to drop a Watcher's Eye, as he just has that drop chance built in now. The Atlas tree is now focused on allowing you to specialize into content that you encounter in every map. We also want you to be able to specialize into your favorite leagues even more deeply on the Atlas tree. For each of the 10 leagues that the tree lets you disable, we've added a bunch more passives to the tree. These new passives allow you to increase the league's spawn chance to much higher levels than currently possible, and juice the league even further than before.
Nice.
We are making a number
That's
of
good.
changes to Eldritch Altars that mostly affect their rewards, but will also affect gameplay decisions you make involving them. Some of the key changes include splitting up the basic currency, Scarab, and Divination card rewards to be explicit in their description of what rewards you'll get. For example, instead of map bosses dropping 3 unknown basic currency items, the altar specifically says which currency item they'll drop. As part of this change, we've removed some of the lower value yet quite common currency rewards from the pool, such as Orbs of Augmentation and Orbs of Transmutation. Speaking of
Nice.
Scarabs, these will be less available from altars, but we've improved their availability elsewhere to offset this. Rusted Scarabs can now drop from the core drop pool, and we've added a vendor recipe that allows you to upgrade your Scarabs up to Gilded using the normal 3-to-1 ratio.
That's nice.
You can also
I
perform
thought
this
they already
action
had
from
that.
your Fragment tab using
I
the
could
new
be wrong,
upgrade
though.
button.
I thought they
We've
did.
made
Yeah, that's
reward
it.
types exclusive to different influences, so that you know which influence type to invest in if you want to target farm a certain reward. To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by, say, Eater of Worlds, you'll see Divine Orbs from the basic currency reward more than twice as often as before. We've also rebalanced rewards so that choices that affect boss drops or influence monster drops are comparatively more valuable. The Wrath of the Cosmos keystone has been reworked. Previously, it was so rewarding that players felt obligated to use it despite its extreme level of difficulty. It has retained the risk versus reward element, but with the overall intensity toned down.
Yeah.
You can now also get awakened gems from defeating Maven Witness map bosses. This additional reward helps further balance the expected returns from the various types of influence. For more detail on these changes, check out the balance manifesto we posted last week, or the upcoming patch notes.
Didn't lose anything.
In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we introduced Atlas memories. When applied to your Atlas, they unlock a sequence of maps that tells the story of an NPC's past. These stories manifest as specialized encounters that involve a new challenge and exciting rewards. In this expansion, we've introduced 2 new Atlas memories, describing events related to bestiary and domination. The bestiary memory line allows you to capture harvest monsters as beasts for your menagerie. These harvest beasts can be used in 9 new beast crafting recipes. These recipes cover an array of options. For example, you can remove one of the special modifiers from a Watcher's Eye Jewel and then add another. This can have potent results, but won't affect the life, mana, or energy shield modifiers. You can re-roll an awakened gem from one type to another.
Wow. Some OP shit
Another
right
example is that you can also re-roll a synthesis implicit modifier. If your item has more than one synthesis implicit, it will randomly re-roll one of them. The Domination Atlas memory thrusts you into a tale of pantheon gods that stand watch over their shrines. Like regular shrines, these are guarded by monsters and emit a buff that empowers the monsters until you claim that buff for yourself. This Atlas memory introduces a new set of shrines with specialized buffs, guarded by rare monsters that drop tantalizing rewards. The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a new type of shard that can drop from Harbingers.
Here we go.
Fracturing shards.
What does that do?
When combined together into a full currency item, you get the Fracturing Orb, which behaves the same as the Fracturing Craft from Harvest. It can be used on any rare item with at least 4 modifiers. When the orb is applied, it locks one of the modifiers in place so that further crafting efforts do not affect that modifier.
Right.
Items fractured in this way can only have one fractured modifier. Previously, this crafting option was gated behind the Oshabi fight in Harvest. Now that it has been rehomed to Harbinger, the Harvest crafting option is no longer available. This means that you'll be able to use your Harvest Life Force and Oshabi kills on other crafts. Because fracturing shards drop from Harbingers, you'll be able to target farm them by speccing into Harbinger content on your Atlas tree.
Makes sense.
The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a number of new skill gems. In addition to some new melee Val skills we'll discuss later in the livestream, there are 2 totally new skills that we'd like to unveil today. Volcanic Fissure is a new fiery slam skill that can be used with staves, maces, axes, and unarmed attacks.
Interesting.
Strike the ground to create a chasm that winds towards your target. This chasm can path around corners before erupting as the fissure gets as close as it can reach. It releases a burst of fiery projectiles that explode on striking the ground. Enemies have by multiple impacts will take a lot of stacked damage. Use it up close for reliable bursts of damage, or aim far away to damage a larger area. Frozen Legion is an unusual spell, summoning a ring of icy statues that attack with your own weapon damage. This skill has multiple cooldown stacks and consumes all cooldown uses at once to summon a statue for each available cooldown.
Looks very cool, actually.
Statues perform a sweeping ice slash, and these sweeps can overlap, resulting in multiple hits against targets close to you.
Oh shit.
This spell can be used with staves, maces, and axes. The skill is particularly powerful with slow, heavy weapons, as while the statues will use your attack speed, you should instead prioritize the spell's own cast time and cooldown. This expansion also introduces many new Val melee skills. As you know, equipping a Val skill gem grants you both the Val and regular version of the skill.
Right.
As you kill enemies, the gem charges up with their souls, and after a certain number are collected, the Val skill can be used once. Most of the new Val skills introduced in this expansion are melee skills, and this results in an indirect buff to any melee builds that use one of these skills. Where previously you'd just be using your melee skill to kill enemies, you now get to periodically use a superpowered version of the skill. If you like Flicker Strike, you'll love Val Flicker Strike, as it really dials up the concept of letting fate take the wheel. Val Flicker Strike causes you to flicker dozens of extra times, slashing enemies.
Christ.
During this time,
Here
you don't
comes
deal
the
any damage
headaches.
to the enemies you slash. You're quite vulnerable due to not leeching or generating fortify stacks. When you finish flickering, if you survived of course, you'll be rewarded with a single huge hit of damage against each enemy you slashed. Val Cleave is a new Val skill that buffs the behavior of its non-Val version, in a similar way to how Val Reeve works. Val Cleave triggers 2 buffs, one when you kill a rare enemy, and one when you kill either a rare or unique enemy. The latter is a strong buff to regular cleave, which you can keep up almost permanently if you're able to kill rare or unique enemies often enough.
Nice.
The bonus for killing a rare enemy is that you get to steal its mods for a time.
Really?
You can enjoy part of the power of having a headhunter without actually
I was
needing
gonna
to
say
find
that
one.
mini headhunter.
Overall, Vile Cleave is a pretty powerful upgrade to any melee build that could run Cleave. That +2 radius buff is looking pretty good now, right? Don't hurt me. We'll showcase the other new Vile skills we're introducing over the coming week.
Oh shit, sick.
The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces over 15 new unique items, from Sanctum exclusive uniques to ones that can be found from Path of Exile's pinnacle bosses. I'd like to show you 3 examples of these, designed by winners of our prior league's boss kill races.
Show us.
Progenesis is a unique amethyst flask that was designed by Ben and drops from the Uber Maven. It's a defensive flask that grants a mini version of the Petrified Blood effect, but without requiring you to be on low life. This is a useful tool to prevent you getting one-shot by large amounts of incoming damage in scary situations. Rational Doctrine is a unique jewel that was designed by Rawlings and drops from Uber Venarius. By manipulating your attributes, you can change how this jewel behaves. While the ideal dream outcome is that you manage to get your strength and intelligence tied for highest, enabling both of the benefits simultaneously, the jewel is still very powerful if it only grants your choice of permanent consecrated ground or permanent profane ground. Entropic Devastation is a pair of unique gloves that were designed by Gucci Pradas and dropped from the Uber Shaper.
What a name.
Currently, the ways to get Spell Impale are very limited. These gloves provide the powerful property of causing all of your spells to impale on crit.
Jesus.
So let's talk about unique weapons, specifically endgame unique weapons.
Oh?
In many ways, the weapon is the most iconic and important item on a character, so it's very important that we make them exciting and worthy of their unique status.
True that, yeah, absolutely.
While some unique weapons have special properties that enable entirely new builds, others are best compared to powerful rare items as a primary source of your character's damage.
Nice.
We have to be very careful when pitching the power level of these unique weapons. If they're not powerful enough, then they're useless and are ignored. But if they're too powerful, then they discourage entire archetypes of characters from trying to find or craft rare weapons.
True. Yeah.
Interestingly, the above problem doesn't apply to belts. Despite Mageblood and Headhunter both existing as extremely powerful unique items, people still craft plenty of rare belts.
True.
That's because Mageblood and Headhunter are extremely rare, and people don't actually expect they'll reliably
that
get one.
That is true, yeah, absolutely.
Players tend to treat them as luxury upgrades
I love that.
to their build,
It's
rather
super
than
rare
something they're
stuff.
certain to get. In this expansion, we're promoting 10 iconic but underused unique weapons to the same tier of rarity as Mageblood and Headhunter.
Oh
We are
shit.
buffing them a gigantic amount and are making them incredibly hard to find. Remember when Starforge used to be an exciting item?
Yes.
Well, after this change, it certainly is again.
Hell yeah, I used to like main
Starforge
Starforge Cyclone
it'll take a lot of
couple
runs or a
leagues
lot
ago.
of luck to earn it.
Oh, that's nice.
Over the next week, we'll reveal the other unique weapons that have been massively buffed.
Wow,
We've
Starforge
targeted
is
around
back, are
10
you kidding
iconic
me?
underused
That's
unique
sick,
weapons that have
man.
generally buffed only their damage stat.
I
but by
played
a
it
lot.
for quite a while, actually. When it
We've
was
made
back,
a number
it
of
was
changes
super
to jewels that are covered in a recent balance manifesto, but in case you missed it, we want to quickly summarize what the changes are. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we have made jewels a better source of ailment mitigation by buffing the values of ailment-focused jewel modifiers and adding new modifiers that enable mitigation to a wider variety of ailments than before. We have also removed some ailment mitigation modifiers that were only available on jewels through corruption, because there are now better options through the regular jewel mod pool. This also means that other desirable corruption modifiers, like immunity to corrupting blood, are more likely to roll. We want the moment of finding a unique jewel to be way more exciting than it currently is. We've added a handful of new, very powerful unique jewels and have removed some old, less interesting ones. An example of one of these new unique jewels is Fire Song, which propagates any modifiers to your ignite mitigation to other elemental ailments. If you're able to substantially reduce the duration of ignites on you, then you can use Fire Song to basically shrug off any elemental ailment. For full information about the other changes to unique jewels, check out the Balance Manifesto post we made recently. We've rebalanced curses to make them stronger where they matter most, against unique monsters and pinnacle bosses. We have buffed several Hex-related unique items and reworked unique items that previously interacted with Doom. To replace the Doomsday Keystone passive, we have brought back a version of an iconic curse-related keystone from the past. We've introduced some powerful new unique items that interact with hexes, which we'll reveal in the lead-up to launch. For more details on changes to curses, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted recently, or the patch notes that will come out after
It's funny, I
the
never
livestream
actually played
concludes.
mages in Path of Exile. After all
When
these
we
years,
first
never
created
touched
the
them.
Arch-Nemesis monster mod system,
That's funny.
our goal was to improve Path of Exile's outdated set of monster mods with new and interesting mechanics that have modern game
Freaking
balance.
Arch-Nemesis,
We
huh?
feel that Arch-Nemesis
Still
did
doing
introduce
damage
a lot
after
of
so
interesting
many
mechanics,
months.
but it unfortunately had several of its own problems. We have replaced Arch-Nemesis with a system that is more similar
Every
to the way
patch
monster
is
mods
like
worked in the
an
past.
Arch-Nemesis
The new
modification.
monster mods are a lot simpler. They now each do one thing and very clearly state what they do.
Good.
Each encounter with a rare monster
Clarity,
is now less
that's good.
complex and is easier to understand in the heat of combat compared to Arch-Nemesis. You'll still encounter challenging combinations of mods from time to time, but this emergent synergy will be rarer than it was under Arch-Nemesis. The goal is that combat is interesting and varied, with moments that get your heart racing, but without the frustrations of the Arch-Nemesis system.
True.
Let's talk about
Jesus,
rewards.
tell me about it.
Under Arch-Nemesis,
I
it
played
often felt
Arch-Nemesis.
mandatory to bring in a magic find culling
When it
character
came out,
to kill some
it was
monsters
horrible,
for
I
you in
hated
order
it.
to maximize your rewards. In the new system, we've added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod, so you don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill the monster. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward bonuses.
Okay.
To find out more about other balance changes that are taking place in the Forbidden Sanctum, check out the patch notes, which will be available when the livestream ends. Over the last year or so, some of our senior developers have been tinkering with a more challenging way to play Path of Exile. We've been publicly alpha testing this mode, known as Ruthless, for the last month, and are planning to make it available to anyone who's interested alongside the
What
launch
is
of the
this?
Forbidden Sanctum next week. Ruthless is an optional additional character flag, like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found, that completely changes how Path of Exile feels to play.
Explain?
Ruthless is a lot more difficult than regular Path of Exile, but it doesn't achieve this by making the monsters harder to kill. It instead focuses on reducing character power through extreme item scarcity, limited crafting, and many other changes such as support gems being drop only. We've posted an article about the philosophy and rules of Ruthless on pathofexile.com/ruthless. We plan to release this mode alongside the Forbidden Sanctum expansion in a week. In addition to being a character flag like Hardcore or Solo Self-Found, it's also available as a modifier for private leagues. To be clear, the Forbidden Sanctum League content can be played in Ruthless with appropriately balanced rewards. Ruthless is still very experimental during 3.20, and we won't be afraid to make mid-league balance changes to it during this experimental phase. Ruthless is not for everyone, but so far it has found a supportive and growing group of players who enjoy the additional challenge that it brings.
So,
if it sounds like something you're interested
Solo
in, then try it out
Self-Found,
next time you're looking for a
Ruthless, and
new way to
Hardcore.
enjoy
Let's
Path
go,
of Exile.
man. Holy shit.
This expansion also contains a number of
If you can
small
actually
quality
choose
of
all of
life
them, I'm not sure.
improvements. Some examples are Divine Vessels can now be used by right-clicking them rather than taking them to Sin.
Oh, thank God.
On the player overhead life bar, the energy shield bar is split into a separate bar.
Nice.
You can now right-click an itemized Temple of Atsuatl to see its layout.
Nice.
And most importantly, beast crafting recipes that add mods to flasks now actually say what the mods do.
Thank God.
We'll post more information about these and other quality of life
Nice.
improvements in
Yeah,
the lead
big
up to
time.
release.
For sure. This
Today
is
we're
good.
launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Forge and Gemling packs. Each
Let's
tier
see.
contains the pack's full face value and points, plus several exclusive microtransactions. These packs will only be available for the duration of the Sanctum Challenge League and will leave the store forever in 3 months. As always, these microtransactions are entirely cosmetic and do not affect your character's progression or power. The Forge series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
That's a nice looking skull right there, man.
The Clockwork back attachment ramps up as you build a kill streak, building pressure and releasing it when your streak ends. The Delirious
It's about
Hideout
like take
decoration
flight,
lets
you
you
know?
summon delirium fog in your hideout at will, complete with strange voices and terrifying apparitions.
Ooh, nice. I love delirium.
Feeling okay? You're looking a little pale.
This guy, man.
Exile.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Well, that's not good.
The Forge Guard armor set summons a hammer and
That's
anvil
cool.
so
I
that
love
everyone
delirium.
nearby can watch you craft.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
The ethereal fusing effect turns your item linking attempts into a spectator sport.
Okay, this is like
If you
pure like
manage to
Call
hit
of
a 6
Duty.
link, people watching it even prompted to send a congratulatory message.
Call of Duty. Opening up loot boxes in front of everybody else, you know, so they can see what's up, you know. It's much more interactive.
Summoning the Crow Storm portal effect causes a murder of crows to
Looks
erupt
sick.
from the portal. The portal becomes dormant if you are too far away from it, causing the crows to take to the skies.
They're
The
really
High
going in
Templar
depth
weapon
with
effect
these
smites the undead you fight and scours the souls of those who
special
put to
effects.
rest. The Gemling Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Beehive weapon effect lets your weapon play host to a swarm of angry bees, which erupt from the hive whenever you hit an enemy with the weapon. Critical hits cause the hive to send out its best warriors.
Jesus.
The Stampede Quicksilver Flask makes you the leader of your own personal rower herd. Activating the flask causes a host of ghostly rowers to charge alongside you.
Interesting.
This is the Gemling Artificer armor set.
good-looking
It is
armor,
inlaid
holy
with
shit.
gems that match the gems you've socketed in your items.
Oh wow.
Crafting gems with gem cutters prisms, Val orbs, or regrading lenses visualizes the process for all to see.
Jeez, they're going
This armor
nuts with
set
these,
also
man.
includes ultimate gem level up effects. Prospero's Ring blesses you with a constant shower of coins, and it helps you thank players you've traded with through a hearty fist bump.
Oh shit. That's actually
The
sick.
consuming ooze pet bounces alongside you and devours corpses in your wake, spitting out a tidy pile of bones. Finally, this pack allows you to reunite with Kadiro Perandus, inviting
Finally.
him to your hideout as a vendor. In addition to buying items from you and using his connections to accept your divination cards,
It's like
he'll
clipping
provide
through the floor
commentary on
there.
your goods, equipment, and anything else he sees fit to judge you for.
That might be a little too much to drink, even for me.
Kadiro has hundreds of lines of voice acting.
Oh shit, nice.
What? Oh, a mighty headhunter. I'm so impressed. Try to duck when the brain fragments splatter everywhere. You wouldn't want to sully your armor.
Shit, that's crazy though. Reacts to your
These new packs
uniques.
are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase. Purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2, and we really appreciate your support. Meanwhile, the Knight and Rogue packs leave the store forever in 1 week, so now's your last chance to purchase them. The Calandra edition of Kirik's Vault Pass is only available until the end of the Calandra League, and will be replaced with a new set of unique items when the Forbidden Sanctum launches. By the way, we're hoping to film Season 11 of Build of the Week once the Forbidden Sanctum comes out. If you want to submit your build for the season, share your build guide on the class forums on pathofexile.com.
Awesome. A lot of cool shit in here, man. A lot of really cool shit in here, I gotta say. As always, they have like so many improvements in these leagues. It's insane. The new league actually looks kind of cool. Kind of like a game within a game. I think it's fairly different from what we've seen so far, unless you compare it to something like Heist or something, you know, which is like its own game. I feel this is what it's like. Oh man, there's so much information being thrown at us. There's so much cool shit. A lot of great quality of life improvements. I mean, it looks really, really, really good as always. They knocked it out of the park. It's Path of Exile. It's exactly what you expect. Thank you for watching. Peace.